Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded except for Texas Winds, and some are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am Martha Brown, your host for today's activities. We are presenting today the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. Bethany is our guide, and she is going to show us some items that we have never seen and that probably are not on view, if my guess is correct. Bethany, take it over and show us what you have.
All right. So as I said before, I'm the only one here today, so you'll see me sometimes off camera. I have a little pad that lets me zoom in and do things. So I've preset some things so we can zoom if we need to. You've actually may have seen some of these things before. We're actually, we participated this week in what's called Fort Worth Photo Fest. So everything we have right now are cameras, different kinds of cameras, and photographs. We have some ambrotypes and some tintypes, and a photograph photo album from the 1800s here. My husband also is a photographer, so I brought some extra ones that are not actually part of our collection, but part of his collection. So I brought them in so that we can kind of compare, because he has some that are similar to some of these, but these we can't open all of them. Like our brownie here is broken, so we can't actually take it apart, but I have one of his that's just like a step up. It's like the second one that they made, and so I can open that one and kind of show you the inside of those. So I've got a few things, a few different cameras. Obviously we have tons of cameras here, but let's see where I want to start. Okay, so most of this stuff we don't have a lot of information about on our end, but I know a little bit about the kinds of cameras. I know more about the brownies than anything, and I know a little bit more about the photographs that I have. But we'll just kind of go ahead and start with the photograph, or the information I do have. So this is a robot camera. I guess let's start with dates. Let's start by dating, because that'll be better. Okay, I'm going to start with the brownie. It's one of my favorites. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me zoom in.
It's big and boxy.
Yes. Here's the brownie.
It was cheap to make, and everybody had it.
I know you guys may know more about it than I do, because some of this is not my area of expertise, and Lee is even I don't know a lot about this stuff when she was telling me about it, because not all of them are dated even. I know the brownie was first invented and introduced in 1900, and the first one that my husband has was from 1901. So I know that these are pretty much about a year apart. See if we can get a little closer, because it's a little dark.
I had a brownie from 1953, and I thought that was pretty old.
You're a little. All right. Oh, come on, friend. Sorry, my camera's being finicky today. I'm gonna give you guys, just let me know. I'm sorry. I'm hoping to have another team member here in our next few ones. So this is a brownie this is one of the original brownies. They dated between 1901 and 1956, 58, I believe, 1950s. And you would move this knob here. There's another one on the side here. You would pull this out, pull it out. So you could take these apart and you could see the inside. And let me show you my husband's here. So the difference is his is actually made out of aluminum, where the one that we originally have from 1900 would have been made out of, this is made out of cardboard. So that's one of the differences in them. Okay, Topher, how does this work? It's been a while. Pull that out.
Was the cardboard one actually functional?
Yes. And if it wasn't broken, you could actually still use it today if you could find the film. Because my husband actually I completely forgot about this. When we were in high school, he took pictures of us on his brownie. And we were friends in high school. I've known him since sophomore year. We were in choir together, and he has photos of us that we were looking through his film, some of his just film, and there's us and some of our friends from high school that we found just kind of hanging out. So he's used this before. So you would feed new film here at the top on this little bar, put it here, you'd wrap it around,
Uh-huh.
and it would feed back into an empty, I want to call this
Rocket.
Yeah.
Spool.
Spool's a good one too, yeah. And then right here is where there's a little entrance or little hole here where you could see this is where the lens is. There's a button right here, and you would just press it up or down. If you can kind of see it where it's kind of flashing, that each one of those is just a picture. And then you would take this and you would spin it until you got to a new set of film, or a new like square for the film. So you would ream it, you put it in, slide it right in.
Did it have a number that showed you when you got to the right spot on the film to stop?
Yes.
loading?
Yes. So that's right. All information from my husband, because he's the one who knows all about it. There's a way to get this done. And this is why I'm using his, because I'm like, it's a way to get it on. I don't have to mess with the collection one, and I know why. There we go. Ta-da, I did it. Okay.
All right.
Yes. Yay, I did it.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. You know, you can still buy brownie film today.
Yes, he does. He loves doing this. He actually likes to do his own, he loves doing all the old like chemical
Oh,
development.
yeah.
Mhm.
Development. Yeah.
He loves developing his own film. But I actually have even a newer one. That's not quite as, it's not an earlier one. You said that you had one when you were younger, right? So this is called the Hawkeye brownie, and it has this attaches. This is a flash.
Huh.
You could attach to it. They had one-use bulbs.
Yeah.
Flash.
I remember those. Yep.
Yeah, I have some in here, but they're made out of phosphorus, and I'm afraid to move them too much.
That's true.
I don't want them to. There's actually a warning inside the box that says "will explode," and I'm like, good to
Well,
know.
that's what makes you feel real.
So they give you a
good.
cover to cover over here, so that in case it exploded, it caught in the little like cover, so you didn't, get shards of glass in your face. But so this is the same thing. It's a brownie. It's just a newer version. Call it. All right. So it's the same kind of thing. This one's obviously made out of plastic instead. And we pull this up,
Got a flash.
we hit this here, and it opens up. The difference for this one is that the reels is one. It's like one of its own piece, like one whole piece, and you would just take this off, put a new one in, and you would put the empty one at the bottom here, and it would feed into that like the other one. It's a part of the camera more instead of like two separate pieces. And then you would, oh, I should probably lock that, huh? And you would attach, if you needed your lovely flash photography, you would screw that right on. You put your bulb in here, it's one flash, and you just put the button on the side. And this one was from this one ranged between 1950 and 1961, I think, is what the information I gathered said. But see if I can get these. Since I'm not taking them out of the box, but you can see the little phosphorus bulbs.
Yeah.
I thought those were so cool.
I always wondered what the covers were for, and you've explained that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now he's got This is one of my husband's favorite cameras. He loves it. He's talked about it all the time. I did not know that they were named after the Brownie character. I think from it was. Let me get it in here. From the Brownie character in the Palmer Cox cartoons, in basically after brownies from like folklore and like fairy tales. So that's what they're named after. And they were invented by George Eastman of Eastman Kodak Company. He's the one who kind of owned it. Oh, yay! I have a friend to help me with the camera now. Lovely.
Good morning, camera person. Who do we have?
This is Miss Rebecca. I don't know if you've met Miss Rebecca before or not.
Good morning, Rebecca.
Been in here with us before.
I just had a meeting with the school district about a summer program we're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Everyone's in meetings this morning.
Everybody's in these. So we had the Brownie 1, Brownie 2, and Brownie from the 50s. And so we have all those, and then we'll have, let's see, let me show you some of these, because I really like some of these cameras here. So these are, remember which number this one is. Trying to find the lovely little label here. 24. I'm sorry, guys. Miss Lee knows she can read these off and know them by heart. Okay, so this is a folding camera, and I think this is our oldest one from 1889 to 1905, and it was manufactured in Rochester, New York. This
Woo,
is
that's my hometown.
Rebecca's father actually worked for Kodak.
Everyone in Rochester's father worked for Kodak.
Everybody's
growing up.
wondering. So you pull this out.
Oh, yeah.
One here. Do you want putting less close on the bottom corner? There you go. I named them funny, I know. We could even get cool. And so there's the button here. So there's the, I believe the snap button. Ooh, sorry guys. Snap button here. And then this would reel the film in. And I'm not sure how to open it.
That's an antique, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, few of these are, and I'm not sure how to actually open it, and I don't want to take a chance and break it. So
Leave it alone.
yeah, so it looks like the eyepiece here to look to see what you're taking a picture of is right here, at the top. And this one says pocket automatic, made by Eastman Kodak Company in Rochester, New York. So we have a lot of those.
Good.
You want to hit the close button right above the less close? I know. Can you hit the plus sign because it gets blurry?
It gets blurry.
Yeah, it's just a little blurry. There we go.
Oh,
Oh,
now
oh.
a little better.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the name of the company in manufacturing is right on the head of the
Who was the company name? Was it
Eastman Kodak.
Eastman Kodak?
A lot of them. A lot of Eastman Kodak.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
So with that camera, I know a little bit about cameras, but since it's on this foldable bellows,
Mhm.
are you able to adjust the focus by changing the length of the bellows?
I believe I know one of these you can.
Okay,
Maybe
not. I mean, I just something that
There
I
is an
didn't-
adjustment, like there's little things on the side here, the little
Okay,
tabbies that I think you can do. I don't know if you can zoom. I don't know anything about them. Can you tell? I'm just
I
gonna,
don't think you can zoom on early cameras because zooming has to do with like moving your lens.
Moving your
like,
lens.
Yeah. And
I think
wouldn't have done that
now
on
I
this.
know this one can do that. Or there's one over here that has the fold that you could move the bellow, and I can show you once I get
Oh,
this. But
okay.
I don't think this one can. I think this one allows for a different amount of lighting in. And then there's a little tab here that is the button to
okay.
do with. This may be the thing that opens it. But I don't want to chance
Don't
it.
break these
Okay.
cameras.
Yeah, I don't want to break these cameras.
So how long were these manufactured? I didn't hear what you said.
This one, let's see, folding camera from 1889 to 1905.
Okay.
Too many years ago. Oh my word.
That's fine. believe it's just down for this one. There's a lot of, they have a lot of different ways to close these.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so this one's really neat.
It is actually very pockety too, like.
It is. It's like a very, like, I'm
We'll say a
surprised how
handbag.
small, yeah, how honestly how small it is, because we have a few different kind of like fold. Oh no, you're good. When I tried this one, because this one is not in the best condition. Let me preface with that. This one's 41, which this is the information we have on this one, is that it's Kodak folding front, Bausch and Lomb lens,
Bosch and Low.
Bosch and Lomb lens, and there's no date to it, so we don't actually know when
They're
this one
also in Rochester.
was dated. Well, Kodak, so I just assume at this
They're a
point.
different company.
You just assume at this point.
It's very old.
Okay, so this one has a button here that pops it open. And it's also a bellows. I assume though, the way that it's made is very similar. I'm thinking it's going to be around the same time as the one we just looked at.
Okay.
Okay.
This one pulls out and it clicks in, and you can pull it in and out. So it does, this one you can adjust
How interesting.
how far or close it is. This one, which is a little interesting, which makes me think that it may be a little older than the one we just looked at, is that there's a glass panel here, and I don't want to lift it up. Lee did it for one of the programs we did, and it's been shifting, and so we don't want to lift it too much. But in the back, there's actually a glass panel in the back. So I'm wondering if it's closer to
Maybe where you put the piece of film in and expose it.
well, yeah, because before, some of the earlier pieces, which I'll show, are the Ambrose types and the what do they call them? I have the name here because I forget, because there's so many of them. The Dragodeer, how is that?
Those two and that one.
So yeah, so you would place the in and take the photo, and these were the ones that would take you sit for like minutes to hours to get your photo developed, and you have to sit there. So interesting. I like my
Wow.
favorite thing about them is the learning about the development of how the process changed, and how how we went from having to sit an hour to have a photo taken, just one. And then it developing into something that we now just take on our phone. And it's just something that we just do every day, don't even think about, and we can send it wherever through social media. But yeah, so this also has has different levels of adjustment. And I believe those are for how much light is exposed to it. And then the little clicker is right on top.
No wonder people didn't smile if they had to hold still for that
No.
long.
So yeah, so and
Your cheeks would hurt.
some of them too, Dawn probably knows some of this too already, but some of them too, a lot of the photos that you would get, because they were, can you put recollections at the top? Yeah, there it is. Some of the photos that you see, like the very old photos, are photos of like people who have passed, because it was so expensive at the time to get a photograph taken.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't use that money unless you were going to take a picture of something you wanted to remember, or during the World War I, it was something that they would take with them as like something to remember their family by. And they only would make one copy, like they could only make one copy until, I believe, I have the information in here. I think once the Browning started coming out, they started able to make different where you can make multiple copies using film instead of
Okay.
tin or glass, or Ambrose, which also use like a glass and paper
Yeah.
imaging system. So
So Bethany,
yeah, go ahead.
I looked this folding camera up, and this
Yes.
one, model number 1, called Kodak folding camera number 1.
Yes.
It was manufactured from 1889 to 1898.
Perfect. 1889, 1890. I'm gonna let Lee know that. grab this camera. She's gonna want to know. 89 to 1898. Perfect. I will let Lee know because she doesn't know a lot and she didn't have a lot of time to do super amounts of research. But she will be very excited to know that. So we have
Okay.
another folding camera. Open only while winding. So it says. There's the number on it. I just saw it. Oh, there it is. Still in the box. 264, which is right here. This is a Kodak 16 millimeter and larger, made in 1934. Again, from Rochester. They're just making all the cameras.
George Eastman.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's-
I have a little bit on him in there. Okay. I opened this one and now I'm trying to remember what I did.
They're all so
There we go.
different.
Ta-da! It's another bellows.
Every manufacturer has his own design.
Mhm.
Yes. So this one said again, made by the Eastman Kodak Company in Rochester. That's all that really is in there. I want to open the box. Oh, okay, here. I'm gonna set this down. There we go. Don't want to be too hard with it. Okay. There it goes. And now there's some on the side here. I'm wondering if I can get into the body of it. I think so. Did I do it? I did it. Oh, that's lovely.
Mhm.
So it looks like it's similar to, you would feed into one end and then go into an old. Do you mind hitting the whichever one, the close or less close one? So it looks like it's kind of similar to the brownie where it would feed to one end and then to the other, and then you would wind it. Although this one says open while winding.
Well, that seems counterintuitive.
It
That's
seems
what I
like a
thought so,
horrible
too.
idea. Once you're in a black and dark room.
Yeah.
So according to this museum, it's not our museum, a different museum. It sounds like the most significant event in amateur photography was a camera invented in 1888,
Mhm.
where it came with 100 exposure film already in it.
Oh, wow.
And when you would send the entire camera back to get it processed.
Oh, all right. There you go.
And so that made it easier for people
Oh, excuse me.
to like do it. And made it accessible to millions of amateur photographers with no professional training.
Oh, that's nice. I don't think that was the brownie though, because the brownie wasn't invented until
It said it's
1900.
camera number one. the
Oh,
Kodak #1 camera in 1888.
it was
Oh,
this
that's right.
one.
That was that one, yeah.
So
This
you'd
one.
send the whole thing back, so it would come pre-done with
Interesting.
film,
Okay.
and you'd send the whole thing back in. Apparently, the advertising campaign even had women and children operating the camera to show it's so
It's
easy.
ease.
And the slogan was, "You press the button, we do the rest."
Of course.
Nice.
Yes, and so within a few years, snapshot photography became a national craze.
Did that and then that was where they still didn't say what kind of film they were using.
It doesn't. It just said it was a roll of film and a small fixed focus camera.
Interesting.
So didn't you say it was a Kodak 16 millimeter?
It says a Kodak.
Oh, this one, the one that we were just looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 16 millimeter called, it's Kodak 16 millimeter and larger is what this one is.
Oh, and larger. Okay. That's okay.
And this is our last, I think, bellows kind of one. And this is a Polaroid.
Wow.
So not.
Ooh.
That was practically a bad word in our house growing up.
So you pop this open. This one's more complex. It took me a little while to figure out how to close this thing back. And it took Lee a little while to figure out how to close it back Saturday. This is the one that Mackenzie touched. So I open it here and then you slide this out. Oh, it's this part here.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. And then this one has, like you were talking about, on the
Yep.
bottom, it has a turner that it pulls it out further
Oh, yeah.
and further. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
yes,
speed it
ma'am,
out a
yeah.
little bit.
perfect. And this one's called Polaroid Land Camera, the 800. Then you would just take the little picture here. And it looks like, I'm trying to see if there was any more adjustments that it could have had made. Like the other ones had some where you could adjust how much light you let it. Oh, it's on the side here. It looks like on the side, there's like a slide panel. I don't know if you can kind of see that. You may not be able to. It's got little numbers here. To feet to lens is what it's called. What it says. And it ranges from 3/2 to infinity. I don't think that's true.
And beyond.
It's infinity. Yes. And this one comes with it's also got a flash,
Oh, wow.
which would set in. Let's see. Don't have enough hands for this. Looks like it would set like this, and the flash would go right here, side.
That's a lot of
And it's a
hardware.
single-use bulb too, I believe. Yeah, I think this one's a single-use bulb as well. Yes, a lot of hard. You should see my husband. He uses a modern camera, and it weighs more than everything on this table. It's so heavy. I can't carry that thing. That thing is so big. So these are some of my favorites. I got this one, this one. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it back in. This is the real. So we can-
Real test.
yes. This was, let's see, it was press this thing, I think, and then it goes down. That. Oh. There we go. And then these kind of pop down. And then we shut it. Ta-da! And I was gonna see if I could get into the back here.
No, it's not very portable.
It isn't. And then this one says Polaroid Land Camera, Polaroid Corporation, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Important, before loading camera, make sure both rollers are in use. And damp cloth, use a damp cloth to clean any hardened parts. Interesting. Okay. Maybe damp. Maybe I'm in damp. It's hard to see. It's got some.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just go right in here. This one say, let me see if this one had the date on it for.
Well, I looked it up.
Oh,
on
yes.
Wikipedia. It was
Yes.
manufactured from 1948 to 1983.
It looks like this one was from 1951 is when.
Yeah. Well, and they changed the name of it at some
Oh.
point from land camera just to camera.
Not a land camera anymore. Oh. And then let's see, let's move on to this friend here.
I wonder how long land was part of the company.
I don't
Wikipedia
know.
says Land was a developer of this, worked for Polaroid, and so as long as they worked for the company, they had Land in the title of it. But once he left the company, they took his name out of the camera's name.
That's
Oh,
fair.
thanks, Don.
I like it. I'm usually having to do what Dawn does, so it's nice to have somebody who can help out with that. This one is a CalArt Micromatic Flash, CalArt, and it was made in 1955 in New York. CalArt, am I saying that right? In CalArt, the CalArt Co. New York. And then so there is a flash here. There's a flash plate here, and it would slide right into this back here. And it would slide right here like this. And then the single-use bulb would go right here.
Mhm.
And then looks like they also, this one could have, we don't have one, but it looks like it also has it could have been on a tripod because there's a piece here
Oh, yeah.
set up. And then this spins. Where's the button? Oh, I do not have it. So it looks like these go in here. There's not a lot of information on this one. So I'm wondering, because I don't see an actual like flash, like a button for the flash. So it looks like we only have part of this. I'm gonna let Lee know. What to do
Sounds
some more.
like you're having a good time learning. Isn't that great?
It's part of, I love it. It's my favorite, one of my favorites. So this one
Want me to
looks,
zoom out? Or you good? No, you're good.
no, we're good. So this one looks probably closer to what I know of cameras today.
God for information.
This one is a robot, robot, R-O-B-O-T, robot, robot camera from 1939 to 1950. Was manufactured in by the auto burning company in Dusseldorf, Germany. I like saying Dusseldorf. It's a lot of fun. But it has a lens here that you would adjust, has numbers on the side. And I'm not sure what all these little buttons do. This is why I need Chris. This is why he should have been here to tell everyone how to use these cameras, because he could go on a tangent. So yeah, so you just got a little bit here. There's a lot of little, this one looks a little complicated because this one has a lot of little buttons that you would change.
Does it have a separate aperture and focus settings?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
There's a ton of little buttons on here. Oh, that may be the button there. Pull it. Let's see if I can open it. It opens, I just don't know how.
Yeah.
So that is, it is what it is. This one, a little bit on those. Where I want to go next. These are the ones that I remember growing up. This one is one of my husband's. This is a Polaroid, a Sun 600. And I believe I wrote when they were made and everything. Sun 600 was made in the 80s.
Yes. That looks like, so Kodak for a very brief while made one that looked a lot like that. I remember we had them growing up, but they got in trouble because of copyright infringement apparently. And so it
Because
was
it's
a
a Polaroid
short-lived,
camera.
it was a short-lived,
So Kodak got in trouble for
Product.
trying to make a Polaroid,
Yeah.
basically. But this one still works. It's loading its flash. I don't want to do that to you guys because it's very bright. Yes, so this one still works. So
Okay.
And you remember using this? Is that what you said?
I remember having my family having one. This is my husband's, and he used all the cameras that he got when he could find if they worked and if he could find film for them.
that's the hard part now is being filmed for the old ones.
Yeah. This one.
My family had a Polaroid
Oh yeah.
camera. That's the one where you push the button and the film comes out the front.
Yeah, this right
Okay.
here.
It was a much later model than that. Didn't look like that at all, but it did the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, and it had one of those square light bulbs, flash bulbs on it, where you had 4
There's our-
light bulbs on a cube that you could use.
I need to do some research to see like when we transitioned from single-use bulbs to flash like multiple use bulbs in
Yeah.
cameras. Because
Well, that-
I'm interested to know like when that changed.
I remember using cubes in the early
goes.
60s.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye.
Jessica. Bye, Holly.
Bye.
Bye.
Have fun.
Thank you.
I remember using flash cubes in the 60s.
Okay.
Making noises. And then this one I also remember as a kid because this one came out in
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the Instamatic is what it's called, and it was between 72 and 73. But I do remember these because I remember the film very specifically. So the buttons here, we have little single-use flash bulbs still at this time, and they get fitted in here.
My first camera had flash bulbs.
like single use though?
It had 5 uses. It was a long like tab thing that you stuck on top of the camera, and there's
Looks like this one has 4
Yeah, there was like
on these, and
okay, so
then
that looks like from this a General Electric flip flash. 8 to 10 flash bulbs in a row, and they would like, okay, that's not it. That was a flash.
how do I open it? Oh, there we go. And then of
that was
course
a flash cube.
we had that little
Is that what she's showing?
film canister that I remember, but I can't describe what it looks like. How do you describe that? Little film canister. Yeah, so this one's called the Kodak Pocket Instamatic 10. They made apparently a lot of Instamatics.
Okay, so they started working on the electrical flash, like a regular, like what we think of as a flash, electronic flash tube.
Mhm.
In 1931, he started working on it.
On a flash tube in 1931. Okay.
But it took a good amount of improvement to decrease the costs, and it became popular in the second half of the 20th century. And now they use a capacitor to store the power. That's that sound we hear. That's the
Oh.
capacitor charging up. There you go, flash tube.
Flash tube. So this company is called Ricoh.
Rico.
Yes, Ricoh company. And they don't make cameras anymore. They're actually a printer company now. This was make sure I get the dates right. This one was made in 1990, which was the year I was born. So it's as old as I am. But it looks like this one starts is where we have a little more developed in like
Yeah.
lens. This is what I think of too when I think of like the camera my husband uses. Like it, all of his lenses like move and they're very like complex. They're nuts. Like the things that they're massive too. They're huge, a lot bigger than this one. They weigh the size of a toddler. Like it's so heavy. That backpack is just so heavy. He has this whole setup over here. So it comes with this. It's got a second lens, and he's even got a flash in here
Oh,
that
okay.
is very similar to what he actually uses now. They're significantly smaller, but you can adjust how high you want the light to be shining. And it would just go straight in here. If I can get in. There we go. Right in here, and you could adjust. I'm not sure which, like, I don't know what kind of lenses these are, but this one says macro. And these were manual lenses. So now they're automatic. You can set them up to be automated, like where they can automatically zoom or adjust how much light you wanted. This one is he said this one is a manual lens that you'd have to adjust it yourself by hand. So that's something that he was telling me about. But we'll keep you, since we're going to want to zoom in a little bit closer for this one, because we are going to show you some of the awesome prints we have. And I want to start with this. So this is from our collection. This is one of our collection pieces.
Bethany,
Yes.
I need to tell you that you probably have 5 minutes because
Okay.
you're going to need to reset for the 11:30
Yes.
program.
Let me show this to you real quick because this one
Okay,
is
good. We don't
super
want to miss anything, but we want to
Right.
We have
Read
tons
it.
of stuff, I know. All right, so this one is this is actually a photo album from 1860.
Wow.
Can you zoom in a little bit to the like super close one? We're gonna work it. And these are a mix of tin types and paper types that we're starting. So this one's 1860. And I try to keep it where we've covered it because we don't want it to lose any of its, we don't want to bleach out any of the images, but it was for a CJ Thorpe, and they were images from a school, which I believe the school name, but I just wanted to show you some of the pictures that were in here.
Okay.
These are tin types and different
Tin
paper
types.
types.
Wow.
Paper types were starting to come out around this time as well. And they all looked very similar to this, just on how they were set up. We have some Ambrose types as well. Some of them have a lining around them. think there's one in here that has, yes, here it is, a copper, and that is not a tin type. That is probably an Ambrose type.
Mhm.
You can kind of see it because those all came with a copper framing on them, a copper or tin or some sort of framing on them. We had some of them are more extravagant or not than the others, but I did want you guys to kind of see this before we had.
That's nice.
But yeah. So those are some of the images that would have come from our older cameras.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for working with me today, because I'm not the expert. I'm the one who gets the information and I get to tell you about it, and then I get excited and go off to a tangent. So, you know.
Bethany, this has been wonderful. Thank you
Yes,
so
this was
much
very
for
good.
showing us what you have.
Yes.
Thank you guys for coming by, and I'll see you guys. I think, Martha in the next group.
Heather,
Oh, Heather's the next.
you will see Heather, yes.
Perfect.
And Bethany, we look forward to having you back again soon.
Yes.
Yes, thank
You
you
guys have
so
a
much.
great rest of your week, okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm
Thank you.
sure we all will.
All
That's
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, let's take a look at what's coming up. Okay, Fort Worth Museum of Science and History now, and at 11:30, excuse me, I brought my frog today. And at 1:30, Fitwits with Emily Corbin. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we have the Amon Carter Museum of American Art. Peggy's going to show us art about cars. Cars. She's going to do 10:30 and 11:30. And then at 1:30, 10:30. And then at 11:30, it'll be Graham Jones with the Texas Winds. My numbers at the top are wrong. I apologize. And then Nia at 1:30.
Okay.
We're busy people, aren't we?
Busy, busy, busy.
Yes. Anybody have anything they want to share today before we go?
No.
Okay. Hans, I'm glad you got to stay with us.
Yes.
Yes, you have a good day. Paulette
you.
and Phil, thanks for coming back.
Oh, absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
good day. Bye, Nancy. Bye, Don and Myra.